Hi everyone, this short video is going to be on how you can use the EditBox in Clouds2Max. And the EditBox is a little different than the limit box, which I just did a video on recently. And instead of just hiding things, you can do other things with the EditBox. So let's get started and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So this is just a point cloud that I have in Clouds2Max here. I've already loaded this and I've done some videos on how you can load that already. And in order to create an EditBox, what you're going to do is you're going to go to your helpers tab over here and you'll see you have a button for EditBox. So I'm just going to click on that and I'm just going to click and drag here in the viewport like that. I'm going to create a small box, something like this, which is good enough. And you can already see that it's highlighting the points which fall inside the box. So let me just lift this up and move it to the top. Let's say just to the top of this house here, just to get enough of the ceiling off at the very top. So something like this. So you can see I've got this shaded portion right here. The edit box behaves a little differently. Now that I have this object created, I can go to the Modify tab to look at its properties. So I have Show Points selected. So if I uncheck that, you'll see what the effect of deleting these points would be. So you can just show points and hide the points this way. This is not really intended to be like the limit box where you're hiding the points, indefinitely. This is just to show you a preview of what you will be deleting. And if I do want to delete, all I have to do is go down here where it says delete points, click on that. I can move across. Let's say I wanted to do another section here. I'll move down. Something like this. So you'll see it's hiding the points now. If I do show points, it just highlights them. And I'm going to go delete points. And maybe, let's say I want to open the face of this building a little bit. I can just move over, slide this over a bit, and I will drop it down and move it a little bit more forward like that. And I'll delete these points here like that. Okay, so I can see inside the home now, up through the ceiling and that sort of thing. So this box here I can just hide now, and I'll just do that, hide it, and there it is. I've got it here. These are now not just hidden, but they're deleted. If I want to, so long as I keep this spline extractor, I can undo. So if I click undo, 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 I can bring those points back fairly easily. So that's pretty much how you would use the edit box to delete points out of your point cloud. So in the second part of this video, what I want to show you is how you can create or extract a spline from the edit box. So I have a section of roadway here, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a profile of the road surface, just the asphalt surface here. So to do that, I need to go back to my helpers tab, edit box, and I'm going to create an edit box just over here, small one, and I'm going to stretch this out on the side so it expands across the road just like that. I'm going to center it a bit better so it doesn't cross the curb. I just want it on the road. I'll look at it from the front and I'm going to drop this down like that. Okay, so you can see the section that it's crossing here because it's colored. I'm going to move this over just a bit to get more of the road like that. And so we have this sort of profile. Now I can make this thinner too, and if I do that, I'm just going to use the R key and choose one of the controllers here just to make it thin. So what this is going to do is look at the section that's on the ground, and it's going to create like an average line or spline that's through this volume here. With this selected, what I'm going to do is with the edit box selected, I'm going to go to the Modify tab, and so I've got some settings here where it says Spline Extraction. The minimum distance is sort of like the span, like how far it's going to span between one point and the other. And sometimes this is not entirely intuitive, but I'll do one and then maybe change some of the settings and then show you what it looks like. The maximum angle, so that has to do with sort of how big of a jump it makes up or down, and then number of cross sections. So you can take that single line and divide it into 2, 3, 4, 5 sections, whatever the need may be. So we're going to leave it at one cross section. We'll leave the 120. And we'll leave the minimum distance right now as it is. And I'm just going to go create spline from selection. And it just created a shape here. And I'm going to click on that. I'm going to hit the number 1 to look at the vertices. So you can see these points, they lie on the point cloud here, but they're fairly coarse. It's not really great. So what I'm going to do is delete this and we'll make a new one. So I'm just going to go back to the spline extractor here, and we're going to turn this number 12 down to 1, and you'll see it makes quite a big difference. So I'm going to go create spline from selection I'm going to click on this and now look at the number of points here. So now we've got a whole number of points that are adhering to the surface. So this is going to be obviously a better or more accurate line because it's not making larger jumps. Now if you don't like what you have here, you can go to the spline extractor. We can make some changes. Let's say we want to go a little bit more coarser, go to 2. Maybe we want to have, a few more sections, and then we're going to go update spline. And I'm going to go back here and let's look at it. So you'll see that I have fewer points and there's some breaks here as well. Let me move this out of the way. It might be a little bit easier to see. I'll move this over to the side and I'm going to select the spline and just tuck it over here. So you'll see that I had 3 and now I have 3 sections. So this is a really good way to look at cross sections of vehicles or cross sections of roads. If you wanted to make an outline of walls for a building or something like that, it's a really useful tool. So that's the spline extractor tool.